It's 5:47. Let's pick up again on the plans for this state visit for President Trump. Downing Street has said that the visit to Britain later on this year sometime will go ahead, they say, despite calls for it to be cancelled following this travel policy of his. More than 1.3 million people have signed that online petition saying that the invitation should now be withdrawn. And this evening there are protest marches being held in at least 40 towns and cities across the UK, from London to Edinburgh, Cardiff, Aberystwyth, the Isle of Wight, the list goes on. Our correspondent Sian Greschick is in Whitehall, and Sian, just bring us up to date on what's going on there and the kind of crowd that you're seeing gathering. What do you make of it?
Well, Hugh, this protest isn't actually due to start until 6 o'clock, yet for the last hour thousands of people have started to gather. As you can see, once this bus moves from behind me, there are plenty of placards, a sea of placards behind me, as people gather together to share their frustration. I've been having a chat with many people in the crowds here. One chap called Matt, who was a student, he said that he's never protested before, but once this ban was announced by President Trump, he said that that was the final straw for him. There is deep frustration as well when you talk to protesters in the crowd about the reaction to this policy from Theresa May. Lots of people wanting to make their voices heard here, and it's all been organised within the last 48 hours by Owen Jones, a columnist who decided to launch a Facebook page. More than 23,000 people said that they were going to come. Already you can get a sense that thousands of people have decided to come out on the streets. There is quite a strong police presence here. We've already seen the police horses here tonight. Now, many speakers will be addressing the crowd when it does get underway here shortly, including the Shadow Attorney General Shami Chakrabarti, the Liberal Democrat leader Tim Farron, also a Syrian refugee is due to address the crowds, and representatives from groups like Black Lives Matter and Friends of the Earth. But as more and more people start to gather, it's very clear that lots of people feel very strongly wanting to get out onto the streets of London opposite Downing Street and make their message heard.
Sian, thanks very much for the latest there in Westminster, in Whitehall. Sian Greschick. Let's go straight to Cambridge. My colleague Ben Ando is there. Ben, what's the state of affairs there? What are people telling you?
Well, Cambridge is a place where they welcome international students, and they welcome students from the United States. At the moment there are around 80 undergraduates and more than 500 postgraduates who are studying here. I've just spoken to one, and he told me that one of the reasons for coming to Cambridge was that he wanted to be part of what you might consider to be the global community of learning. And Cambridge in particular, of course, has been a university town for many, many centuries. It's a place where people have come to study, to increase their learning, and perhaps to put something back into what humanity knows for many, many years. Now, there are around probably 500 to 600 people here. This demonstration was set up via a Facebook group, but it's being supported not just by students but by all members of the community, plenty of older people here. And indeed the students and the protesters here are taking some heart from a tweet from the Vice-Chancellor of Cambridge University itself, Sir Leszek Borisovich, who said, "When governments seek to curb freedom of movement, we remain committed to the best and brightest from around the world." And that definitely the message from here is that whatever President Trump is choosing to do in the United States, Cambridge itself is a place where anyone, as long as they are clever and willing to learn, is welcome.
Ben, thanks very much for the latest there on the protest in Cambridge. We'll talk to you again later on. Ben Ando there for us, our correspondent. Now, how do you feel about your hometown or city? Well, for 6 months, one man has been crisscrossing the UK, making a mood map of urban Britain. 1,000 miles later, Dan Raven-Ellison has collected information that is hoped will show how landscape influences our mood and our health and happiness, how technology can improve our quality of life.